Hey toy fans, I'm D21Beast and welcome back to my 11th day of my 13 days of Halloween video review series. If you don't know the series that I'm talking about or the contest I'm running where you could win a free Marvel Legend or some Disney Infinity prizes, definitely check the link in the description below this video. But what we have for you guys here today is the Marvel Knights version of Green Goblin from the Spider-Man Classics line released by Toy Biz in 2003. Now this particular version of Green Goblin comes from a story written by Mark Millar of Civil War and Old Man Logan fame, along with some artwork from Frank Cho and Terry Dodson. And in that story, Aunt May had gone missing, and Spider-Man was on a crusade to figure out which one of his villains had figured out his identity and taken May hostage. It's a really great story. It does get a bit dark, and I highly encourage you guys to check it out if you can. I think it's some of Millar's best work, although pretty much everything that guy writes is really good. Alright guys, well that's the history behind this figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at that paintwork and sculpting. Alright Spook fans, here we have this Green Goblin figure up close, and he is absolutely terrifying looking. I really like the way they've chosen to go with the sculpt work on this figure. It just makes for a really frightening looking character. And I think the inspiration for this Green Goblin comes more from Humberto Ramos' artwork on the character, which came after Marvel Knights Spider-Man, versus the original 12 issues where Frank Cho and Terry Dodson did their piece on the book. So as we look around this figure though, I really like the way that the irises on the eyes here are different sizes. I like the way they've done the nose and the teeth. And the sock cap here has got a great amount of detail. I mean, look at all that wash on there. There's some sculpt work here for the stitching, and it goes all the way down to the end of the sock cap. As you come down the figure, he's got all this armor that's on him there's just texture detail everywhere on this figure. Some more black wash going around to add some definition to it. You'll see some sculpt work here on some shoulder pads. Well, there's two sets of shoulder pads. You'll see excellent sculpt work on both of those. Coming down the figure, we do see that he's got these free-hanging bags. Now, they do come off the figure. They're a little tricky, but each one of these bags has meticulous sculpting work on those, as well as some more wash and some wear marks on them. And then we come down to the legs, the knee pads. I mean, this figure really just hits it out of the park in all respects. I mean, this is my favorite Goblin figure that I've got, and really just one of my favorite villain figures that I have. Alright guys, so enough gushing over the Goblin figure. What you see here are the accessories that this guy actually comes packed with. We of course get the trademark Goblin pumpkin bomb. As you see here, it is fully sculpted and painted. It's got the eye sculpted, the mouth sculpted, the stem, even the cut line at the top of the pumpkin bomb here. And then it has this flame effect coming off the back that's been given a nice yellow wash to go over the orange plastic. So a nice amount of detail on this item here. And then of course Gobby has his Goblin glider. Now this glider looks just like it did in the Marvel Knights Spider-Man storyline. And it actually has a spring-loaded function. The mask of the Goblin glider is actually a missile. You can press on down here on the turbine, and it will fire that missile. And it actually launches pretty nicely. This spring hasn't worn out or anything over the years. And it just easily clicks right back into place. We just push it down right here. And then you'll notice that this glider actually has some footholds or holsters for the Goblin's feet. So this Goblin actually has some pretty big feet, but they fit nicely into the glider. You just kind of pop them in here. And we'll just go ahead and push it in on that side. Of course, now it's choosing to be difficult. There we go. And it pops in here on the other side. And Goblin's able to stand pretty nicely on top of this glider. And let's go ahead and give him this pumpkin bomb. And it's meant to go inside his left hand. And it doesn't hold super tight, but you can get it wedged in there. And then you've got Goblin on his glider. So this figure looks really good, I think, when you bring all the pieces together. Moving on to articulation, you can see that this Goblin figure does have sort of a ball-jointed neck here. It allows his head to look up only so far, and down even better. He's got this ball-jointed swivel on his sock cap that spins all the way around. And then as you come down the body, you do have an arm that can rotate forward that far and back that far. It does extend out from the body just a little bit there, and he does have a bicep swivel that spins all the way around. He's got a single-jointed elbow. He's got a rotation at the wrist, and then there's no further articulation on that hand. And then as we come down the torso here, he does have a waist swivel that spins left and right. He's got a hinge joint at the hip that allows the leg to move forward that far and back that far, just back to standing position. He's got a hinge that allows his leg to move out from the body that far. And then he's got upper thigh swivel to rotate the leg all the way around, as well as a single jointed knee. And then he does have rotation here at the boot, as well as having a hinge that allows his foot to go up that far, very far, and back that far. There is no ankle pivot on this Green Goblin figure. But for 2003, I think we've got a great range of motion on this Toy Biz figure. Height-wise, we can say that Marvel Knights Goblin does come in at just a little over 6.5 inches. For some size comparison, here we have Marvel Knights Green Goblin compared to the Build-A-Figure Ultimate Green Goblin. Here he is compared to Marvel Legends Infinite Series Amazing Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man. And here we have Gobby compared to the Marvel Legends Infinite Series Wolverine. Alright toy fans, well that's my review of the Spider-Man Classics Marvel Knights Green Goblin figure released by Toy Biz in 2003. And overall, this is a really awesome Green Goblin figure. Now I know the aesthetic may not be what a lot of people think of when they think of Green Goblin, but more modernly he has been drawn like this, or at least he was for a little bit. I think he's back to his classic look now. But this is still a very cool looking Green Goblin figure from probably one of the best and darker Spider-Man stories that we got out of the mid-2000s. If you haven't checked out that first 12-issue run of Marvel Knights Spider-Man, you guys are definitely missing out, and you definitely want to look into it. Well, thanks for watching this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you saw here, please feel free to rate, share, and subscribe. Also, be sure to hit me up on Twitter at D21Beast. Finally, don't forget to be leaving comments in all of my videos for the 13 days of Halloween so you can get entered in to win that free Marvel Legend or one of the Disney Infinity prizes that I have to offer. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.